Particracy is a de facto form of government where one or more political parties dominate the political process, rather than citizens or individual politicians. Rationale and types. Particracy tends to install itself as the cost of campaigning and the impact of the media increase so that it can be prevalent at the national level, with large electoral districts but absent at a local level. A few prominent politicians of renown may hold enough influence on public opinion to resist their party or dominate it. The ultimate particracy is the single-party state, while in a sense that is not of true party, for it does not perform the essential function to rival other parties. There it is often installed by law, while in multi-party states particracy cannot be imposed or effectively prevented by law. In multi-party regimes, the degree of individual autonomy within each can vary according to the party rules and traditions, and depending on whether a party is in power, and if so alone or in a coalition. The mathematical need to form a coalition on the one hand prevents a single party from getting a potentially total grip. On the other hand, provides the perfect excuse not to be accountable to the voter for not delivering the party program promises. Examples. The German party system established after World War II provide examples of particracies. More explicitly than in most European parliamentary systems, the party plays a dominant role in the German Federal Republic's politics, far outstripping the role of individuals. Article 21 of the Basic Law states that the political parties shall participate in the forming of the political will of the people. They may be freely established. Their internal organization must conform to democratic principles. They must publicly account for the sources of their funds. The 1967 Law on Parties further solidified the role of parties in the political process, and addressed party organization, membership rights, and specific procedures, such as the nomination of candidates for office. The educational function noted in Article 21 suggests that parties should help define public opinion rather than simply carry out the wishes of the electorate. On the other side of the Iron Curtain, the former German Democratic Republic was hardly democratic, but at least in theory more than the USSR in as far as the Communist Party allowed the existence of eternally minority small interest group parties. The Netherlands is viewed by some as being a particracy. Particracy is one of the reasons for the 2010-2011 Greek protests. The Mexican pre-party has been characterized by some scholars as a state party, or a perfect dictatorship, for ruling Mexico for over 70 years, later losing power for 12 years and regaining it in 2012. The Republic of Ireland can also be seen as a particracy. Since the foundation of the state, one of two parties has always led the government, either on its own or in coalition. Those parties are Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Fianna Fáil is one of the most successful political parties in history. From the formation of the first Fianna Fáil government on 9 March 1932 until the election of 2011, the party was in power for 61 of 79 years. Fine Gael held power for the remaining years. The Italian Particracy. It has been alleged that Italian parties have retained too much power in the First Republic, screening the choices citizens had in elections. This electoral law would reinstate fixed electoral lists, where voters can express a preference for a list but not for a specific candidate. This can be used by parties to guarantee virtual re-election to unpopular but powerful figures, who would be weaker in a first-past-the-post electoral system. The nearly pure proportional representation system of the First Republic had resulted not only in party fragmentation and therefore governmental instability, but also insulation of the parties from the electorate and civil society. This was known in Italian as Particracy, in contrast to democracy, and resulted in corruption and pork-barrel politics. The Italian constitution allows, with substantial hurdles, abrogative referendums. enabling citizens to delete laws or parts of laws passed by Parliament. A reform movement known as Corel, led by maverick Christian Democracy member Marius Egnai, proposed 3 referendums, one of which was allowed by the Constitutional Court of Italy. The June 1991 referendum therefore asked voters if they wanted to reduce the number of preferences from 3 or 4 to 1 in the Chamber of Deputies, to reduce the abuse of the open list system by party elites and ensure accurate delegation of parliamentary seats to candidates popular with voters. With 62.5% of the Italian electorate voting, the referendum passed with 95% of those voting in favor. This was seen as a vote against the Particracy, which had campaigned against the referendum. Emboldened by their victory in 1991 and encouraged by the unfolding money-polite scandals and the substantial loss of votes for the traditional parties in the 1992 general elections, the reformers pushed forward with another referendum, abrogating the proportional representation system of the Italian Senate and implicitly supporting a plurality system that would theoretically force parties to coalesce around 2 ideological poles, thereby providing governmental stability. This referendum was held in April 1993 and passed with the support of 80% of those voting. This caused the Giuliano Amato government to collapse 3 days later.